the eastern part of Nigeria, there was a village called Umunachiko. There were so many trees and rolling hills surrounding this peaceful village. In Umunachiko, there were 4 brothers, Ejike, Chibueze, Odinaka, and Obum. Their family home stood as a testament to their team efforts to raise each other, no matter the challenges they went through. In the midst of poverty, they were very content as children. But one day, Ejike fell ill and almost died. His parents became so frustrated that they gave up on his health due to the fact that it had taken away so much from them and left them in so much debt. Then Chibueze wanted to forcefully become the first son and was ready to take on the title while awaiting the death of his brother Ejike. Fortunately, Ejike recovered from the unknown sickness that almost took his life. But unfortunately, that sickness made his dream of continuing his education futile. He then set out to become a businessman. As Igbo culture has always been, he had to go do Nwa boy in order to know how to do business properly in Igbo land. He set out with his uncle for the bustling city of Lagos. He was so excited as a young boy, but he never knew the life that awaited him in the future. While Ejike was doing Nwa boy in the hands of his uncle in Lagos, Chibueze, on the other hand, started out in business too. He was a dedicated young man and was focused on liberating his family from poverty. But underneath all that goodness and care, jealousy and envy towards Ejike welled up so much in him that he was willing to plot against his brother just to become the first son. Ejike was known throughout the village for his gentle heart and unwavering faith in God. A devout Christian who never compromised his faith no matter what. Whenever Ejike returns home from Lagos, a mini party is always thrown because everybody is happy to see him again. Ejike's laughter echoing through the village square as he shared tales of kindness and compassion, lighting the hearts of people and made everyone love him so much. Chibueze, being the second son, was a stark contrast to Ejike. His eyes gleamed with envy, and he was never really happy simply because he wished he was as relevant and loved just like Ejike. Despite his considerable wealth, Chibueze's heart remained stiff, consumed by greed and jealousy. He often schemed and plotted, seeking to undermine his brothers at every turn. Chibueze was pretty industrious. He made sure he worked very hard, and that enabled him to afford his trip to America while he sought greener pastures. Odinaka, the third son, was born deaf and dumb, his voice silenced by a twist of fate. Yet his heart spoke volumes, brimming with love and empathy. But under Chibueze's corrupting influence, Odinaka's once pure soul darkened, his kindness overshadowed by bitterness and resentment. He was also a hardworking young man who found fulfillment in making shoes. But as he grew and his family expanded, he wanted more than just being a shoemaker. Lastly, there was Obum, the youngest and wealthiest of the brothers. His pockets overflowed with money, but his heart was rigid, hardened by arrogance and disdain. He strutted through the village with his head held high, looking down on his brothers with disdain. As the years passed, Chibueze's envy festered like a wound, and his heart was consumed by darkness. He watched with narrow eyes as Ejike's kindness garnered the love and respect of the village, while his own deeds went unnoticed. Consumed by jealousy, Chibueze vowed to take everything Ejike held dear, starting with his wife and ensuring his children suffered too. With a silver tongue and a heart black as coal, Chibueze wove a web of deceit, and that made Ejike's wife and children leave him. As whispers of the betrayal spread through village like wildfire, Ejike's heart shattered. His faith was tested to its very core, but was still unshaken. Kinsmen tried to convince Ejike to go against his faith, to take in another wife, but he refused, hoping that one day his wife Ego would return to him with their children. While Ejike suffered from his brother's wickedness, he was not alone in his suffering. Odinaka fell victim to the manipulations of Chibueze. He was swayed by his brother's wickedness, turned a blind eye to his wife and children, his love overshadowed by bitterness and resentment. In his blindness, Odinaka failed to see the pain he inflicted upon his family. Their cries were drowned out by the echoes of his own misery. Meanwhile, Obum, fueled by pride and arrogance, clashed with Chibueze in a battle of wills. Their feud echoed through the village, casting a shadow over their family's once peaceful existence. After 8 years of doing Nwa Boy in Lagos, Ejike knew that it was time to move on with his life in business. He was settled by his uncle, who had taught him all he needed to know about the business and how to thrive. He set out to the northern part of Nigeria, where he settled for a while. But as his business grew, Ejike had a longing in his heart that couldn't be quenched so easily. He missed home. Then he thought to set up his business in his peaceful village. Then one beautiful evening, Ejike arrived in Umunachukwu. The villagers were so elated to see him, and he became a very successful and well-known businessman in all of Umunachukwu. Then one fateful night, as the moon hung low in the sky, tragedy struck Umunachukwu. A fire outbreak occurred that engulfed the house of Ejike and his brothers. There they stood watching their houses come to ruins. Devastated, they didn't know what to do or where to turn. But the brothers realized that they were still family no matter what they went through. As villagers rallied to extinguish the blaze, Ejike stood tall amidst the ashes, his faith unbroken, his spirit unbowed. With tears in his eyes and forgiveness in his heart, he reached out to his brothers, offering them redemption in the face of ruin. Then the four brothers started rebuilding, not just with brick and mortar, but with team spirit, love, and forgiveness. Their home was finally built, and that sparked something new amongst the brothers. A few years later, after Ejike had suffered loneliness and heartbreak from his wife and children, just when he decided to let go of the hurt, his wife resurfaced with tears in her eyes. Ejike ran to embrace his family again, and peace and joy was restored to him. irrespective of what his brothers thought, Ejike never gave his brothers chance to interfere in his marriage or nuclear family again. And as the years passed, Ejike's goodness touched the hearts of all who knew him. His legacy endured long after he had passed into legend. And though the road was long and fraught with hardship, joy, pain, and loneliness, Ejike emerged victorious, his spirit unbroken, his heart filled with love. And in the end, it was not with wealth or power that defined greatness, but the kindness of a gentle soul, shining bright amidst the darkness, illuminating the path for generations to come.